We're in the Greensboro Historical Museum now, and that's an entirely fitting place to begin to talk about the history of the Greensboro Storytelling Festival, because it's a part of the story of the city, this unique area that we're in the Piedmont part of North Carolina. And a group of people came together 5 years ago and they had a dream. And their dream was that we could bring together people from all over the community to hear stories that would be told by very polished professional tellers, but also by people who wanted to share stories for their own lives.
I'm Ray Mendenhall with the North Carolina Storytelling Guild. We've been in business for about 10 years and have been gathering a network of storytellers all over North Carolina. And we meet periodically, and this year we're fortunate to be a sponsor of the Storyfest here in Greensboro. Had a lot of corporate sponsors that weren't able to help them this year, and the Guild, because we think storytelling is important and would like to see it promoted all over the state, decided that we would invest the money in this Storyfest this year.
I was a little boy growing up in Waynesville, North Carolina, and one Sunday afternoon we were sitting out in the yard when my Uncle Frank's car came up the driveway. Now, in my dad's family, a family of 13 children, he always described Uncle Frank as the person who was in charge of bad ideas. And so I always loved for him to show up. He got out of the car and he was just laughing his head off. And my daddy said, "Frank, where in the world have you been?" And Uncle Frank kept laughing. He said, "I've been to Guy Chambers' funeral. It was so good, it was worth having Guy die just to get to go to the funeral." And that's the time I would start listening because I knew a story was coming.
Can you see me now? I am delighted to be here, Charlotte. Yes, I've been 5 times, but I haven't told. The first time I came to volunteer because I believe in storytelling. And this was a wonderful venture and I was happy to be here. But I came to storytelling kind of by accident. I was a media coordinator, which was a librarian turned media coordinator in an elementary school. And part of my job was to make sure the children were excited about books and reading. And I would read stories to them and read stories to them and read stories to them. And one day it occurred to me that after so many years of reading my favorite stories to the children, I could put the book down. And I could share that story with the children. And the marvelous thing about it was there was nothing between me and their faces. That was marvelous for me.
They say what was the most scary thing about Blackbeard was what he would do just before he jumped on board your ship. You see, they say that he would take fuse matches. Not at all like matches we have today. Fuse matches, well, they look much more like if you took the center of a candle, the wick of a candle out and cut it into small pieces. He would take those and dip them in a special solution of brine and saltpeter, and then he would tie them with bright red ribbon into his braided beard, into his braided hair. And just before he jumped on board your ship, he would light them, and so that they would flame and spark and smoke, and he looked like the devil himself. And it was this that was so frightening.
Hey, well, I'm Kathy Holcombs.
I'm Diane Hooker.
And we're in Women Improving Race Relations, and we have learned through that group that hearing someone's story is a way to understand the other people and build bridges and make them feel valued and equal. So we read books about people's stories and then we share our stories with one another. And we thought this tent would fit in well because a big part of stories is having a listener to take it in. And so we made some questions through to ask people to reflect on their lives.
So how many years have you done this?
Actually, this is my very first year.
This is your first year?
Sit up front.
Right here. From one branch to the next.